When taking students on extracurricular road trips, the school typically pays $450 to rent a bus using Regal Charter service. Okay, just so I need to explain this, apparently, this is not real. This is a worksheet for math class. Okay? Yeah. Okay. However, the school secretary decides to call a competitor to see if the rates are better. Here's what the representative from Fly By Night Rentals has to say. Well, Regal charges a flat fee. But think about the cost per student. With Regal, if only 4 students go on the trip, that's $450 divided by 4, which is $112.50 per student. In this case, Fly By Night would only charge $78 per student. Think of the savings! But what about large groups? With 54 students, you'd still be paying $450 divided by 54, which is $8.33 per student with Regal. But with us, 54 students is only $3 per student. Can you believe it? It's all because we use a linear model to determine the price per student. It just makes sense. Of course, you have to take between 4 and 54 students on the trip, but that's no big deal. So can we count on your business? Well, can they? Which one's better? We've got to fill out this table. We've got to fill out this table. Can we just jump straight to filling out the tables? What would be easier if we had to start with? Yeah, an equation. Okay? It even gives us a place to fill an equation in problem number 1. So can we figure out an equation for Regal? How did this lady on the phone get Regal's prices every time? What do you think? Divided by? So every single time she took 450 and divided it by what? The number of students, right? So in our case, we're going to call that X. Okay? Is that enough information to easily fill out this table now? Okay. I don't want you to use your calculator when we fill out this table. If you've already used your calculator and filled out the table, you be quiet. Okay? What is 450 divided by 15? For those of you who can't think that fast, what is 45 divided by 15? 3, right? So what's 450 divided by 15? 30. Does that make sense? Okay. So what is, if you know that 450 divided by 15 is 30, what's 450 divided by 30? 15. Does that make sense? All right. Then what's 450 divided by 45? 10. Very good. Okay. What about Fly By Night? Do you still want to get the equation first and then do the table? Yeah, that seems pretty much a lot easier, right? Okay. So how many points do we need to write the equation of a line? 2, right? 2. Do we have 2 points? 1, 2. So yes, we have 2 points. So we can write the equation of the line. So do you want to use the formula and formula everything out, or do you want to use the calculator? Okay, we want to use the calculator, don't we? Okay, I know you all remember how to do this already. Do you mind if I show you just in case there's somebody in here who doesn't remember? Okay, so I started a new document. Let me zoom in so you can see the screen a little better. Don't whoa me as if I was a horse. We're going to make a listen spreadsheet. That's a number 4. Okay? What am I going to put in the listen spreadsheet? What am I going to put up here? Well, what's going to go in that column? Can we just put X? Those are our X's, right? So what do you want to put in this column? That's perfect. So what goes in my X column? 4 and 54. Those are the only 2 X values that I know of Y value of, aren't they? So 4 and 54. Good? So what's going to go in our Y column? 78 and 3. See, I knew you would remember this. Now, normally what we did at this point is we went to add a new page, right? And we looked at the graph on data and statistics. Guys, we don't need to do that this time. We just need the equation. So can I remind you how to write the equation? Okay, I'm going to zoom out, back out just a minute. I'll zoom in a minute so you can see it a little easier. But I also want to write the steps right here on the side, just in case you have forgotten, so that you can write them for yourself to remember. Okay, so we're going to press menu. And then we're going to press statistics. And then we're going to press stat calculations. I'm just going to write stat calcs. You okay with that? What are we looking for? MX plus B. Now, somebody said linear regression. What's the problem with saying that? There's two of them, right? So yes, we want a linear regression, but we specifically want MX plus B. So that's actually number 3. So I'm going to write MX plus B. So now what it's asking me is, let me zoom back in. Now what it's asking me is, where is the X list? What did we call the X list? It's almost like we knew what was coming. The X's. What did we call the Y list? Y. This is saying, do we want to save the regression equation to F1? Sure, we don't care about that right now. But yes, sure, that might be nice in another occasion. Frequency list, just leave that as 1. And then right now that says first result column, it's going to put it into the column D. And that's fine with me. It could be C, it could be D, it could be E. As long as it's there somewhere on the sheet, it doesn't matter what it says. Okay? Did it just tell me my equation? Yeah, what do I need in order to write an equation for a linear function? I need an M and a B, don't I? Oh, look, there's M and there's B. So negative 1.5x plus 84. There's other information down here underneath this. We've never dealt with that before. If you plan on taking college statistics, I just want you to remember where R and R squared are. They're right there, okay? That's exactly what we're talking about this week in college statistics. You having to know R and R squared, and so reminding my students where that is has been really nice, okay? Any questions about this? Let me zoom back out so we can see the worksheet. Any questions about this? Yes.
Online it shows data loss.
Is it something to do with this worksheet? If it's not, then we need to go on because we're running out of time already. Okay? All right, so we have this table that you're going to need to do. How are you going to do this table? With that equation, right? Plug in your x values to that equation to get your y value. Then you have number 2 to do. Sketch the graph of these two. Can you use your calculator for that? Do you have to? No, you know how to graph an equation of a line and the equation of a rational function. Okay? Plus you have 2 tables. You can just plot points, right? Then you have to answer number 3. And all it asks you to do is treat them like a system and solve them. So what are you going to do with these 2 things? Set them equal to each other and solve. Got it? Okay. Then we have the second worksheet. And this is what I've been waiting for a while. You ready for this? A parachutist jumps out of a plane and gets on the phone with her friend. A parachutist calls from her cell phone. Hey, Walter, you'll never guess where I am. I'm parachuting down over your neighborhood, even though I'm descending at a constant rate of 4.8 feet per second, because she knows that. I'm afraid my landing will be a little rough, so do me a favor, go outside and climb up on your house and throw me a pillow when I pass over your head. Okay? When Walter saw her, after all of this problems that she's gone through, jumping out of a plane, getting on her cell phone, he throws her the pillow. Oh, we also know this. She was 40.6 feet above the ground when he saw her. Okay, is that important? Maybe, right? Walter threw the pillow with an initial upward velocity of 40 feet per second. Maybe it's a memory foam pillow. I don't know. Okay? It's probably going to have to be a pretty heavy pillow. Or actually, let's just talk about Walter for a second. He has to be really strong, right? But look at him. Guys, he's almost as tall as his house. Look, if you take that and then put it right there, he's like a giant. What is going on with Walter? And what is going on this crazy parachutist? Have you ever seen anybody parachute? They don't look like that when they parachute. And they don't call people on their cell phone while they're parachuting. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll calm down. So, here is the equation of the pillow after it's thrown. Because, Walter knows that. All right. The parachutist, after all of this stuff that she's gone through, when Walter throws at the pillow, she missed it. She missed the pillow as it went up, like right here, but then caught it on its way down. It didn't mess with her parachute or get entangled in any of her lines. She just caught it. Somehow. So, I need you to realize that the math behind this worksheet's really good. The story is really ridiculous. Okay? Okay, so here we go. What linear function can be used to find the parachute's height in terms of x? Which is the number of seconds since Walter threw the pillow. It's a linear function. It tells us that. So what do we need for a linear function? An m and a b, right? So y equals mx plus b is what we're trying to fill in. Do we know an m? Do we know a rate? Yeah, it says it right here, right? She's descending at a constant rate of 4.8 feet per second. So if she's descending at a constant rate of 4.8 feet per second, what is our m? It seems like a trick question, right? God bless you. It seems like a trick question, and it kind of is. But here's the deal. People have missed it all day. This is what they've gotten right. Okay? So why do you think this is so tricky? Why have they missed it all day? I even pointed to what we think the answer is, but they're forgetting this part. What should my m be, Kendall? Negative 4.8x. Does everybody understand why it's negative 4.8x? Very good. Okay, it's even kind of showing you this ridiculous looking parachutist descending. Okay? What else do I need for my equation, though? A b. Where did she start? What does it say? Yeah, when Walter saw her, she was 40.6 feet above the ground. So what goes here? Okay, so people have been confused and said minus. And I was like, so you're saying she was 40.6 feet below the ground? I mean, I guess if she jumped out of an airplane without a parachute, maybe she could if it was really soft ground. But then she would probably be dead, right? So, is this okay with you? Yes, okay, good. Number 2, treat these two functions as a system and solve it. What do the intersection points mean in the context of the problem? How many things is it asking me to do here? 2 completely separate things, right? First of all, I have to treat them as a system and solve it. So let's do that first. Which 2 equations are we talking about first of all? This one? And which other one? Yep, right there. How do I treat it as a system to solve it? Yeah, that's exactly right. Negative 4.8x plus 40.6 equals what? So what kind of equation is this now? It is a quadratic, and if it is a quadratic, what do I need to do first? Equal to 0. Very good. What side do you want to move everything to? Part A, does it matter? No. So part B, we want to choose? Doesn't matter. So where's everything to begin with? I got an x squared, an x, and a constant over here. So you want to move everything over here? Okay, so to do that, I need to plus 4.8x here and plus 4.8x here. And I need to subtract 40.6 and subtract 40.6. Everybody okay with that? So what happens to this left-hand side? Okay, that's 0, and that's what I needed, right? So on the right-hand side, I'm left with negative 16x squared plus 44.8x. Good. Okay. Now what? It's a quadratic, so we should try to factor it, right? Ugh, there's decimals. That's not going to be nice. How else do we know how to solve quadratics? With your favorite song. Right? Well, let's set that up. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. I wasn't done. Now I'm done. All over 2a. Okay? Now, here's the thing about this. When we first did this, we simplified as we went, right? We've already practiced doing that a whole lot so that we could jump to where we are today. And where we are today is turning on our calculator, adding a calculator page, and putting it straight into the calculator. I'm going to make a fraction. I'm going to put negative 44.8 plus. Why am I not putting plus or minus?
Kingston,
Yes, sir.
do you have Cheyenne checked release?
Yes, I do.
Keeps to the office, please. She's leaving.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Square root 44.8 squared minus 4 times negative 16 times negative 25.6 all over 2 times negative 16. Enter. If you can't see that, it says 0.8. Is that my answer? Is it part of my answer? How do I find the other answer? Yeah, I go back up here, highlight it, hit enter, it all pops down there, and I have to go back over here, pressing the button numerous times, and making that a minus. And I get a 2. What does this tell me? There are 2 solutions. One has an x value of 0.8, one has an x value of 2. How do I find the y's? Let's put it in here, right? Negative 4.8 times 0.8 plus 40.6. 36.76. Negative 4.8 times 2 plus 40.6. 31. Now we have to answer the rest of the question on problem number 2. The rest of the question on problem number 2 says, what do the intersection points mean in the context of the problem? What do my x and my y mean, first of all, in the context of this problem? X is the time in seconds since the pillow's release. So x is my time. What's my y? How high? Okay, so let's see if I can figure out what's happening here. At 0.8 seconds, what happened at 0.8 seconds? How far was she off the ground? She was 36.76 feet off the ground. And worst of all, and she missed. She missed the pillow. at 2 seconds, what? She was 31 feet off the ground, and she caught it. The pillow, right? She caught the pillow. Got it? How much time transpired between when the parachutist missed the pillow and when she caught the pillow? How are we figuring that out? 2 minus 0.8. 1.2 seconds. So what I need you to do for homework is fill in this table, answer problems 2 and 3 on buses, and answer problem 4 on pillows and parachutes. Got it?